Good afternoon. Welcome to the November meeting of the Residents' Council. First, I have some housekeeping. Carol Roach, many of you know, but Carol Roach will be leaving the council at the end of the year. She's been indispensable in more ways than one, as a partner in crime and as a dear friend. I'm gonna cry. The two of us won't be coming up with any crazy ideas for the council anymore, but a dear friend she will remain. Karen Perret will be finishing Carol's term. And I will remain as president for one more year. The other officers will be Ned Lang, Vice President of Programs, Ann Kelly, Vice President of Administration, Karen Smith, Treasurer, and Karen Perret, Secretary. Not only will the Residents' Council be reconstituting, but the committees will be as well, particularly with new members and perhaps new leaders in many instances. So particularly for new residents, and I've seen quite a few around the building. I don't see any in here right now, but I've seen quite a few around the building. Okay, there's one. I wanted to talk a bit about the various parts of our organization and how we work together. A bit of serendipity. Yesterday, I was at the League of Women Voters talk with Nick Licata, and he talked about the importance of members of an organization learning the rules and the history before taking a position. And that struck me because that is exactly what I had written about for today. So I thought, oh, that was timely. My focus is on the committees, but they're an integral part of our three-part structure, which consists of the governing part, the council, the Monday market, and the committees. The Monday market makes the money that we use for the committees to do our programs for our residents, to do the educational and entertainment programs. And so committees spend the funds that the Monday market makes. And we, on the council, provide a structure. We interface with administration and the board on behalf of the residents. And most of all, we try to prevent anarchy. Sometimes we're needed for that, believe me. The Residents' Council, our organization, is nonprofit, as you all know. By definition, we are organized not to make money, and our income, whatever income we make, or not to make profit, but whatever income we make is distributed back to the organization and the residents. We're exempt from federal income tax, and the money we make from the Monday market is all used for resident benefit. As you all know, the Monday market runs a retail operation, so they are subject to the state of Washington sales tax, and we do pay that. I've stressed many times that the Residents' Council doesn't interfere with the committees and how they run their programs, except to disallow political candidates and parties to, or to sponsor political candidates and parties. However, over the years, some basic rules have developed to help standardize how we manage this enterprise. Committees who want funding from the Residents' Council need to apply for Resident Council recognition. And when they're recognized, they can put in for budget, and we will improve their budget if we can. And then we carefully monitor the budgets to make sure that people are not overspending what we had planned, because we try to allocate it among 60 plus groups, and that gets tricky. So we ask the committees to always work within their budgets. The rules for the committees can be found in the operations manual, which is on HH Connect under the Residents' Council tag. tab. And also in the library in a manual. I don't know if you remember last month, we were looking for the manual because we thought somebody had swiped it, but it's back there. But if you want to take a look at it, please don't remove it from the library. Okay, so we approve the budgets, and any capital items the committees purchase with council funds, those items belong to the council. So if a committee no longer needs a capital item, you bought a piece of equipment that you're not using anymore, donate it to the Monday market, and the Monday market will sell it if it can. We also want to remind you, all the committees, to apply for enrichment grants when they can. Now, for new people, enrichment grants are grants that come from the endowment. We are allocated $50,000 a year, spent twice a year, $25,000 each half. And those are available to residents with wonderful ideas, committees, and to employee departments who apply as well. And there's a resident committee who works with the philanthropy committee to approve those items. When you get an endowment grant, and if you need help with an application, you can talk to Ruth Ann about your idea and see if it makes sense. And then Karen Smith can help you with the application. And if you get an endowment grant, remember that the equipment that you purchased belongs to Horizon House, not to the Residents Council, not to you, but to Horizon House. So if you don't need it anymore, you have to offer it back to Horizon House. They generally don't want it, and they tell you, do whatever you want with it, but you have to offer it back to them. One important rule is that committees are not permitted to sell goods or services, and we can't allow our guests to do that either. So unless it's incidental, like a CD, but anything else is not permitted. And several committees produce toys, blankets, and knitted goods to give to charities. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, now, wait a minute, the art studio is going to have an art sale. What about that? Well, that's a different kettle of fish, because that art actually belongs to the artists, not to the Residents Council or the art studio. So they're donating their work to raise money for the Residents Council, and that goes into the budget and goes back to the group to be allocated to the committees. And they contribute to Residents Council and Employee Recognition Fund. So our goal and hope is for the council to continue to provide all the support the committees need to operate financially. And we're all concerned about that because we know the West Tower is going to impact what happens there. I started working with Mike on this issue last year, and Erica is going to bring you some news on that topic in a bit. Good news. I have some good news for you as well. The administration has raised the reimbursement for taxi and Uber rides to $15 each way. So, ooh, say that got your attention. And Lyft, yes, and Lyft, of course. And a big thing is over this year. The ERF drive is over. And I want to thank Sam and Sally and their crew for all the hard work they did on that this year. I mean, it's just amazing how hard they work. It was a very successful drive, oh, what the heck. And you've been extremely generous as usual. I mean, honestly, Sam is going to report on the details in a few minutes. And on Sunday, December 3rd, from 2 to 4 p.m., the Residents Council and the Employee Holiday Party Committee will be having a party for our employees and their families. Not for us, but for our employees. And we want to thank them for all they do and distribute their gifts to them at that time. We invite you to come as hosts, to mingle with them, to thank them, to make them feel welcome, but remember, the party is for them, so let's show them how much we appreciate them. I think that's all I have to say. If you all don't know everything there is to know about committees now, I don't know what to do. But I will ask Erica to come up next. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you. We've got a room full on just a few days before Thanksgiving. So I just want to open it up to say, I have so much to be grateful for this year. Being here with all of you is the absolute biggest, joy of my year. So I just want to thank all of you because without you, I wouldn't be here, meaning many of you were a part of the voice that helped to select me. So I am very grateful for being here. So I'm going to kick it off with the good news. I just like to dive in. I don't like to keep people waiting. I don't like the suspense. And Deanna queued me up so nicely. So I am really grateful to be able to bring this good news to you. I know many of you over the past 4 months that I've been here have expressed concern about what is going to happen, with the Monday market having to move from the West Wing, understanding that it was going to impact sales. And how were you going to fund all of the wonderful things that you do, which are the lifeblood of Horizon House? And so, Deanna, your wonderful president, really, like she said, she worked on it with Mike, but was the champion to say, we need guarantees. The Residents Council needs guarantees that we will have the funding to support all of the activities. People need to plan. They need to know they'll have the funding to plan. So, I really want to thank Deanna for her advocacy in this role. But the board has approved to support the Monday market. There is a standing allocation throughout the rest of the renovations that the Residents Council will be able to draw down from to support the activities. The amount, it'll be a percentage of, some of the, it's part of the investment income, the endowment actually, is part of the endowment. And so it will be, a percentage of the endowment, will be allocated for the Monday market activities. And so the board will work together with Deanna to determine what that is each year based on the needs. So I just wanted to share that good news. And so we will be able to carry on. Just so awesome. So we've got some bright spots. Looking back, I can't believe we're at the end of November already. But, we had a great holiday celebration. It doesn't seem like it was almost a month ago, but we had a phenomenal Halloween experience that was part of our bright spots. Let me see if we've got any pictures. Nope, no pictures. We also had our all staff meeting. For those of you who might be new, our all staff meeting, they're quarterly. So every quarter, we'll have every staff member come to this room and we'll share quite a bit of the things that we share, like in the fireside chat. There are some of the similar things we share in the all staff meeting, but in addition, we share, employee related things. We also replicate that meeting for the third shift so that we go up, midnight and we share with both the assisted living staff as well as the security staff so that we keep everyone who works at Horizon House in the know. So that's something that we continue. If you're ever around and you see us all here, you're always welcome to come and see what we talk about. I did want to let the community know that I have been elected to the Leading Age National Board of Directors. And so it certainly won't interfere with anything I am doing here, but it will enhance it because being at that policy making table, that table that makes a lot of policy and gets information firsthand for all aging services organizations in the country, it just will put Horizon House in a number one, wonderful light, but we'll be in the know and we'll be able to influence, how our national organization does things. So I am very proud to be able to start that in January, and our meetings are quarterly. So, it's not like I'll be away much. So I want to give you kind of a bit of highlights. So we did go to the Leading Age Conference. Mike Meekum, who is the president of the Horizon House Board, as well as Alex Tibbetts, who's the vice president. So we spent about 4 days in Chicago doing a lot of learning and networking at this Leading Age annual meeting. This year, there were a little over 6,000 people who participated. I did sit on two panels, which I normally do each year. So it was, very good. And I was very proud to sit there as a CEO of Horizon House and to really get our name out there. And so I wanted to share a few takeaways. There are things that continuously come up, and I want to make sure that I am sharing what's happening in the industry with all of you. And so one of the things that was very clear this year is that I shouldn't say most, I don't want to qualify it, but many organizations are either thinking about or actively downsizing or getting rid of their skilled nursing. And there are several reasons why. As many of you know, Horizon House made this decision almost 20 years ago, I believe, to not have a skilled nursing. And I have to tell you, you talk about innovation and making a good decision, because if we had not done it then, our organization would not be in the shape that it's in now. Many organizations have waited until it's too late. And so there are a couple of drivers. One is honestly just staffing. As you know, staffing has been an issue. It was an issue before COVID. It continues to be an issue. And because skilled nursing is so heavily regulated, they have staffing ratios that they have to meet, as well as reimbursement. They are reimbursed through Medicaid and Medicare, and those reimbursements are extremely low. And as we continue moving to a Medicare Advantage model, those are just going to get lower. And so with that, the federal government has also instituted what is called mandatory minimums. And that means that many of these skilled nursing facilities that were able to be staffed with LPN nurses, licensed practical nurses, now have to have registered nurses. And we all know how hard it is to get registered nurses, even in an acute care hospital, let alone long-term care where the reimbursement is low. So the writing is really on the wall. A lot of organizations do not feel that it's sustainable to maintain a skilled nursing. Most of the life plan communities like ours have been subsidizing their skilled nursing for many, many years, as well as their assisted living. We are fortunate. We were in a state like Washington where we can offer a very high level of care in our assisted living. Some people are not so lucky. And so they have to really figure out how they're going to continue moving forward. So I wanted to share that in case people ask, they may ask you, you may get questions because, again, places like Skyline, they are trying to figure out how to get away from their skilled nursing model. If you have friends there, they may ask you, how does Horizon House work? We know that they were one of the leaders. So I wanted to make sure you had a little information. Another topic that is just increasing so much, and Leading Age, it was no different, was the pressure to affiliate with another organization. People have this sense that if they don't just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, they will not make it. And so I've been spending quite a bit of time trying to understand. I understand based on our board went through just a tremendous, thoughtful, strategic planning process. And the outcome was we wanted to stay independent and we know we needed to grow in order to continue staying independent, hence the West Tower project. But this affiliation, this conversation, it just keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. There's almost this pressure. For some organizations, they don't have a choice. They do not have the fiscal strength like Horizon House. They've lost their ability to borrow money to continue to update their facilities and their physical plant, not facilities, but their physical plant, their buildings. And so, as I've been really thinking through, understanding the culture of Horizon House, and that is not what we want. We want to remain independent. It's who we are. And the best way we can do that is to do what we've always done, really be good stewards over our resources and maintain our fiscal strength. And so I just want to put that out there because you will hear a lot about it. You're going to hear a lot about it in the news. As you can even see here, one organization is buying another organization. They just continue to affiliate and affiliate. And I really thought it was important to share with residents, we can also be we may be in a sea of big organizations, but we can always be that niche boutique organization that works for who we are. We don't have to, as long as we stay financially strong. We don't have to. I've even checked with Ziegler because Ziegler is our investment banker. They're talking a lot about it. And so I just kind of had to ask them, we are a single site and we want to stay a single site. And they've assured me, Erica, Horizon House is a whole nother ball game. You guys are in good shape. But I don't take it for granted. We are in good shape today, but I don't take it for granted. We need to stay that way to remain independent, because again, it really is our culture and being able to do things the way that we want to do them. But I wanted to share because again, you will hear, it seems like we are back in the 1980s where it's just affiliate, grow, merge. You hear a lot of it, but I wanted to assure you that the board has done their due diligence. We are really always paying attention to the financial health of the organization, and we're good stewards. Lastly, the other thing that really struck me with talking with people in the sessions was how unique Horizon House is between the resident relationships and the transparency. I did have a couple people say to me, well, gosh, I've heard about Horizon House, and you have residents on your board, and the residents are really involved. Do you like that? And I said, I absolutely love it. That's why I wanted to come there for all of that. And I just turned it back to them and I said, wouldn't you want to live in a place that was transparent and shared their financials and shared governance responsibility? Wouldn't you want that? Well, yeah. Well, then why don't you think other people also want that? So that was just interesting, and hearing some of the panels, and people talk about how boards are too large and they want these small boards that almost feel so small they're like family businesses. So it's an interesting time in the aging services sector. But I will tell you, the Horizon House is a gem. It is a gem, and it is a leader amongst leaders. So I just wanted to share that. In terms of the West Tower update, Christy distributed a memo to all the cubbies on November 15th, and it is also posted on HH Connect and to the admin board in the mailroom. So there is an updated memo, and the board will vote to proceed with the project as designed or revise as needed at the February 3rd board meeting. We're having a meeting in January for all of the West Wing residents to discuss the option for moving to the West Tower. And after that meeting, if there's interest by other Horizon House residents to move to the West Tower, we will hold another meeting. Our first pre-sale milestone goal was met. We set a goal of 120, and as of today, we're at 122. So we're very excited. We've had events and just a lot of interest around the West Tower. Now, you know us, we're not going to sit on our laurels and be happy with the 122. So we've kicked our goal out a little further. So our new goal is to have 140 priority deposits by the end of January. I want to remind everybody, we are going to have a West Tower presentation by Methuen on Monday, December 18th. And so please watch the alert for more information. Last month, we had talked about security. Security had been quite a big issue here. And so one of the things that we decided to do was to get a security consultant to do an assessment. And so that will happen. The security consultant is busy, very busy, but we are, on the list. And so we should have some results by first quarter of 2024 to share. And, we are going to make some revisions to whatever comes up that we can do to make Horizon House a more safe place. But I want to let you know we connected with the security consultant and that we are moving forward with an assessment. And for most of you who you might have heard that we are also moving forward with the card access system. So we will be working on a new card access system that will help, certainly help. Our system is quite dated. So we'll be doing that as well first quarter of the new year. And lastly, Beth wanted to let everyone know we are only at 64% response rate for our resident experience survey, but it's not too late. So if you still want an actual copy, you can email her. She is going to be on the train for the next couple of hours, going to visit her family. So please, email her. She'll send it back to you. If not, she can get a paper copy to you on Monday. But we would like to have all of the surveys finished by Thursday, November 30th. This is really, really important to us. These surveys are how we really understand how you feel, what it is that's important to you, and there are decisions and directions made based on that survey. So the more participation we have, the better. We want to make sure, last year, I believe we had over 70%. We would certainly like to go even higher than that this year. So this is an opportunity to share your voice. It does matter to us. Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ned.
There, thank you. Thank you, Erica. Can you hear me with this? Okay. Is this better? No? Hey, it just needs to warm up like I do. That was an awful lot of good news. I'm glad to hear that. And I have some good news also. I want to thank everyone who worked on the sign-up fair last Thursday. It was, I think, a good event, and I appreciate all the committee people who manned their tables and booths and helped answer questions of people who may have them for signing up. Signing up is going well so far. We had 168 signups before the fair. Since the fair, we've had an additional 77, so we're at 245 at this point. There is still time because we do need more. Closing is Saturday, the 25th. Please, if you're a procrastinator or whatever it may be, you forgot, put it aside. It got buried under more important newspapers or things like that. Please pull it out and put it in the mailroom deposit boxes. There are additional sign-up sheets if you've misplaced it and don't know where it is. Grab one of those and put it in the box before Friday. Now, and so we can finish this annual process of the signing up. I think we will do very, very well. These activities are what makes Horizon House such a fun place to be, but it takes all of us. So I hope we can get our percentage up. It's good for you. The medical scientists tell us participation, activity helps you stay young. This is not an old folks' home. It helps you stay young, and it helps everyone else. It's a no lose. So please get your sign up sheets in and sign up for everything you want to do. Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Sam Sperry. It's on. Yeah, great.
There we go. That's the only technical success I'll have all week. I'm really a poor substitute for Sally Wren, our colleague on the council, but also envious. She departed with John for Hawaii on Saturday, so she's supposed to be here. But she did leave a note that she asked me to read about your generosity and this year's Employment Recognition Fund. She says, "Dear residents, my heart is full of gratitude for each of you. Again, this year, you gave so generously to our Employee Recognition Fund. Together, it truly does take a village, and our beloved community has again created a meaningful fund. Thank you. Thank you. I also wish to thank my co-chair, Sam Sperry, for his support and enthusiasm. You know, she did let me carry her books during the several weeks that we worked on it. But talking to you as host and hostess for our employee holiday party on December 3rd, you will personally be able to say thank you to the many of the staff and their great families. What a fun event for our employees. Their gratitude is also shown each year with their thank you notes on the tree down on the B1 level. Again, it is with great appreciation that I send sunshine to always be in your heart and feel my aloha surrounding you from the quote garden island of Kauai. I celebrate the joy you bring and say thank you, mahalo. Our beloved community is alive and well, cared for by all of you. Sally Wren. Yes, I will tell her that. We had one of the most interesting donations that came in this year, and I really want to share this with you. You all know that the ERF is really one of the hallmarks of our community, and it defines us. And that caring and giving and generosity is contagious, as the little story I want to share with you will tell. It came with a donation of $20, and not from a resident. I will read the note that was attached to the check that we got. A friend of ours arranged to stay in a guest room. She saw Wilbur's message and wanted to donate. She doesn't itemize and didn't have a check, so she gave us $20. We turned that into a check and donated it to the Employee Recognition Fund. Well, I believe our caring, friendly, welcoming community is in the air here that we breathe. And this visitor's thoughtful donation stands as one more affirmation of that. Now, the generosity of our community, which is to say your donations of many different amounts, raised, are you ready for this? $458,634.24. Somebody actually put 24 cents on a check. So our terrific staff will get a nice gift at the check at the party on December 3rd. And so now I'm to turn this over to I told you the first time would be the only one. Do I point it at something? Yeah. Oh, okay. Nancy McReynolds.
Is it on? Is this on? Yeah, okay. If there are no further additions or corrections to the minutes of the October general meeting, any out there? Okay, then the minutes stand approved. And do I have to push a button? Oh, that button. Okay.
Karen Smith. Is this, now this, okay, here we go. That's on now. And there's,
Anyway,
you can hear me now. I don't think 1 month's numbers really have any significance, but I can say that we foresee that we will end the year with sufficient funds in our leftover in our budget that we agreed to give $10,000 to the ERF. Additionally, over the years, we've built up a surplus and we agreed to give an additional 10,000 out of our surplus. And I'm very glad, I appreciate all the efforts people make. One of the wonderful things about being treasurer is you learn how many people do small things that contribute to everybody. I'm thinking of Sue Lynch, who is very concerned and serious about being sure we have potting soil in the potting room. And we have people in the game puzzle committee who are very committed to having new, fresh puzzles there. It's all of you doing small things. I think we have 50 people working in the Monday market, maybe 70 in the library. It's just, that's what I get to see because I sign checks, so I get to see. And I'm very grateful for that. So I say that we're doing great this year. And the other thing is the budget committee met and we were able to give every committee whatever they asked for. And those details of those numbers are will be in the mail room and in the book in the library. So if you want any details, or I have some copies of the budget, I'm happy to share. And I got to say what I learned this month. I learned how to be a cubby stuffer. And I think there are degrees of cubby stuffing. And I went beyond the bottom degree because I was stuffing cubbies with something that certain things went in an apartment with 2 people and certain things went in an apartment with 1 people. So you had, and everybody got one. So, I mean, it took 2 of us and total focus. And I just hope that some of you might get training so that you can work your way up into the cubby stuffing world. And now we will hear from Jennifer, who I'm sure knows how to stuff cubbies.
Well, greetings, everyone. The last Monday market report was 5 weeks ago on October 17th. The total deposits for the period since then is $12,791.53. The weekly average continues to be over 2,000. Employee purchases average around 350 weekly. Let's see, the sign-up fare resulted in 6 names, 3 of which were interested in working the front desk, the cashier's area. Thank you. For those interested, it is helpful to come down to the market on a processing day and see what we do and where you might fit in. The hours are posted on the front door of the market. New coats continue to be displayed in the market. Many have been sold, but more are available. Make your purchases before it becomes necessary to store the coats until next winter or donate them to Mary's Place or the Goodwill, etc. As usual, the holidays bring various themes to the market presentation and items for sale. Obviously, Christmas is a theme right now. Don't miss out on the socks with elves and holly themes. As a reminder, the market and the donation bins will be closed from December 20th to January 3rd. The first market of the new year will be January 8th. On Sunday, a volunteer couple modeled PJs and robes during the brunch. We appreciate these brave souls. Their second outfit, though, was very chic. December 16th will be Barbara McHarg's final day as co-director of the market. She will be missed. So if you run into her, please give her your thanks for her years of service. Yes, it is a big job, but I am trying to parcel out some of the major tasks to lighten the load a bit. But still, all I want for Christmas is a new co-director. The Monday Market crew wishes you a happy Thanksgiving and a peaceful holiday season.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about the Wellness Committee. Now, the Wellness Committee is different than the Wellness Department. All right, Wellness Department does all the physical activities. So the Wellness Committee is concerned about healthy lifestyles, coping skills, living with chronic illnesses, and then our last major issue was the challenges of Medicare. So during the last year, we sponsored a couple of speakers on meditation. We had a 4-week meditation workshop. We sponsored 4 different meditation groups. We had a presentation on the respiratory issues, which we all face in the fall, and got lots of good information. Then we've talked about Medicare in 3 different settings. One was from the Office of the Insurance Commissioner, and then we had Medicare 101, and then we had a Medicare information workshop where people were able to come and listen, and then we divided into 4 groups and people got lots of questions answered. So you all understand Medicare. There are no questions that haven't been answered, right? Well, we'll all know on January 1. But we still need people to serve on the Wellness Committee. And as you can see, we are active and we look forward to the coming year. All right, and next we have Laura. And see if I'm a little, there we go. Skills.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. I'm representing the Election Forums Committee. There is an S on the end of it, but and I've had the pleasure and privilege of serving as the chair this year. The Election Forums Committee has a long tradition in the Horizon House. Neil McReynolds was chair, I think, for over 3 years, and his wife recently dropped a box in my hall outside my park that went back to 2008. But there's more coming. Oh dear. So yeah, so we have lots of records. The purpose of Election Forums Committee is to make everyone at Horizon House a very informed voter. And I really appreciate when people tell me, Pam did the other day, that coming from out of Seattle, that it was very, very helpful to have that information. So each year we put on probably 5 to 6 forums. This year we put on 5. We had one, you remember back in January, there was a special election in February for the social housing initiative. and we had our first forum on January 30th. Then we had a break until we got together again in May. That's when candidates have to file by the third week in May. And we met and looked at who's filed, what are the most interesting races. And we chose 3 races to focus on before the August primary. And one of the greatest scenes of the year were the 8 candidates for City Council District 3 that were lined up, very young, enthusiastic people. And we had a full house for that. We also had a second forum that was focused on the King County Council and the Port Commission. Then we had the primary election in August, and we looked again, what's interesting out there. And we thought, again, City Council is on the top of the list. So we had the 2 finalists. And we also realized that there was a contest for King County Director of Elections. That's certainly been an important, and continues to be an important position. And then, oh my goodness, there were school board candidates. And we hadn't paid attention because our candidate wasn't up, or our district candidate wasn't up at the primary, but we had 4 positions up in the November election. So hopefully everybody learned about the candidates, and also very important are ballot issues. Carrie Lauman has been wonderful writing up ballot issues for us. And just thinking about how important ballot issues can be, last year, Seattle voters passed 2 ballot issues that changed the way we're going to be voting in the future. The Seattle ballot issue changed the primary election from choosing the top 2 candidates to a ranked choice voting system. And that's going to start in 2027. The King County ballot issue changed the year that the King County officials will be elected, from an odd numbered year to an even year. So there's a lot of interest in maybe moving local elections to the same year as the presidential and congressional elections. So those are things that can happen with ballot issues. And finally, just let me give you a preview of this year, which is certainly a major political presidential year. And you may not have had this experience before if you're new to the state, but now we have a presidential primary in this state in March, and that will be coming up. And then we have almost all of the federal and state officials up for election. For instance, a third of the US Senate is up, including one of our senators, Maria Cantwell, will be up for re-election. We have all of the US House of Representatives up, including, of course, our representative, Pramila Jayapal. And at the state level, we have all of the state government executive branch, the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general on down, 9 state officials to vote for. All of the state House of Representatives and half of the state Senate. Although our state senator, Jamie Peterson, has 2 more years to serve in his term, but it's a lot. And Neil reminded me that 4 years ago, we also had state Supreme Court candidates, which was a first time. So there's lots to look at this year. And I really hope that if you haven't signed up, that you will consider doing that. It's a very challenging job, but it's lots of fun. And we have people working very hard on the committee now. So I hope you'll join us. Thank you. Oh, I walked away. Sorry. Oh, I think I feel better with.
Okay.
Greetings. I just wanted to make a very quick statement. Deanna announced that I am stepping down from my resident council position after 2 years and will not do the third one. And I wanted to say that I'm doing that with after very deeply satisfying years and with great respect for the people who serve on the council now and the wonderful 5 folks that we have coming in. I'm doing this for some personal health issues, but certainly not because I have not benefited and enjoyed being on the council. And it's time for burning questions. Today we have 2 questions, one answered by Sean McMahon, Horizon House Chief Engineer, and the second one by Brian Holtz, Director of Operations. The first question comes from a resident who is finding the temperatures in some Horizon House common areas uncomfortably cold as fall moves toward winter. He mentions that Anderson Hall and terrace dining room are particular concerns. What can be done to make common areas more consistently comfortable as the outside temperatures grow colder? Sean McMahon provides an explanation I found interesting. When a large common space such as Anderson Hall or the dining room become quite full, as they are right now, the space, even in cold weather, requires cooling and increased airflow to prevent the temperature from rising uncontrollably, along with CO2 levels. As a result, we often receive reports that the rooms housing densely arranged groups, like this one, are too cold, even though the space temperature is approaching the very high 70s. That's more than I understand, but I hope that it answers something for you. It says, for that reason, it's always a good idea to take a sweater or a jacket to any event that's likely to be well attended. Okay, thank you, Sean McMahon. The next one, the last question comes from a resident couple who are fairly new at Horizon House and very grateful for the grocery van trips during the week. They note that the service makes it easier to live here without a car. They are disappointed, however, that the Horizon House van can only rarely accommodate residents who rely on walkers. Is there a plan to procure a van that is better suited to serve the significant number of us who have limited mobility? The answer comes from Brian Holtz. It's true that the current van only rarely has the space to accommodate residents with walkers. In looking at larger vans, however, we find that they are also too tall for the clearance requirements of the underground parking garages that most urban supermarkets have. Using these taller vans would require us to drop off and pick up residents at the curb outside the supermarkets. This could result in safety issues for those with mobility devices and or comfort issues for all passengers when the weather is cold and rainy. It could also require a special parking spot without the usual height restrictions for the van while waiting for the shoppers. So clearly, this is an issue that requires a lot more information gathering. I'm assuming we will have to have a bigger van anyway, because we're anticipating how many more households? 202 more households. So a bigger vehicle is, I expect, going to be needed. Now it's your turn. If you have a question about anything related to life at Horizon House, please join me in the fireside lounge immediately after this meeting. I'll be there at least 30 minutes, so bring your burning questions to the fireplace. Thanks. And back to Deanna.
And there'll also be someone from the Dining Services Committee in the Fireside Lounge to take your questions, complaints, compliments. So please join her as well if you have any concerns. I had to laugh at Sean McMahon's answer because that's the answer I get to everything I ask him. Okay. Does anyone have any questions of me? Dorothy? Wait, let May bring, or Sam bring you a mic.
Hold it close.
In the spirit of openness, Sam, can you tell us the amount that each employee receives,
No.
full-time
No,
employee?
no, we don't.
We
have it
don't
yet.
tell that. There is a formula that they have, and it's based on the amount of hours that people work. So some people work full-time, some quite a bit of part-time, and some just a little. So it'll vary. They have a formula that they use for making that decision.
Sam, have you gotten the list yet? Have you gotten the list from HR?
No.
Okay, we need to get that. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll talk. Anybody else? Okay, we are going, today is Jean Durning's birthday, and many of you know that she fell and she hurt herself. So we're going to sing happy birthday to her. She's on the phone with Joan.
Okay, so could you all join me in singing happy birthday to Jean Durning, who's convalescing at Foss Home? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jean. Happy birthday to you.